Thank you so much, guys. So let me start my journey. I'm a third generation entrepreneur. And when I just graduated from I was doing my graduation and joined my family business. I realized my family business is almost, I would say, on the, almost like a bankrupt stage, right? And then I just wanted to investigate what happened, what went wrong. So a lot of the learning started from that point of time, and that was 1991. Among the first learning, which because my grandfather, they started a soap factory in 1931, and it was doing extremely well. And in around 1970s, they started to make a bigger plant where we were competing with the Tatas and then the Sunlevers of the India. We were among the four players, and he did not want to go on a debt. So I'll be sharing the process. I mean, there will be a lot of insight, and I'll come back to these ideas again and again. So one of the learning was he did not want debt. He wanted to be a debt free. So that's not a good idea, which I learned, and I'll share with you why. So when they started a factory and there was no debt on all, he put all his equity. And eventually, when the funds ran out because you were doing a bigger plant, and that is where they started to borrow from the money market. The Jaipur ka money market, and of course Kolkata ka money market, I think people will know. It's a it's cycle of a 2 month, when earlier used to borrow for 2 months, and you pay to advance. So basically he borrowed from the short-term funds and use it for a long-term nature. So that's the first learning I realized. Don't use short-term funds for long-term use. The reason most of the businesses go bust is using the short-term funds for their long-term use. Eventually, after that, and why did it happen? Why did it go for the long-term and the short-term thing, right? The reason was a thing called जुगाड़. So जब प्रॉब्लम होती है इंडिया के अंदर, अपन सबसे पहले जुगाड़ देखते हैं, अपन को प्रॉब्लम को शॉर्ट टर्म में सॉल्व करने का इंपॉर्टेंस रहती है. So जुगाड़ is not for the financial needs. It might be good for repairing a machinery, but not for financial needs. Anyway, this journey got into this learning, got into exploring more, right? And between 1989 and 1994, there were almost 1,811 IPOs, out of which I studied more than 400 prospectus. And when I found how the entrepreneurs structure their businesses, why do the professionally managed bigger corporates do well? Why do the unorganized businesses fail? How do they divert the money? How would they, ring fence the businesses? And eventually that idea led to a very interesting study wherein my research on the working capital management started for the PhD. And I did my PhD on working capital management of cigarette industry in India. However, I was given the degree for the tobacco industry because the cigarette requires a statutory warning. And the four companies which were involved over here were ITC, VST Industries, Godfrey Phillips, and GTC Industries. So they were the four core companies where I studied on the working capital management. And eventually at the end of the study, the learnings were shocking. And the research was proved in the sense one of the companies, GTC Industries, became a BIFR case. So we will see during the presentation why so, what happened and what went wrong. So the next thing which I learned was, why do businesses fail? What makes businesses fail, and what makes businesses unsuccessful? So the biggest insight was mismanagement of short-term funds. So when we say short-term funds, does not mean only deficit, it also means surplus, because out of these companies, they were making a huge lot of money over there. So I started my journey of being an entrepreneur somewhere in 1996. I started the business of minerals, manufacturing. Again, a learning over here, which is a thing called percentage and value and absolute value. A lot of the times we make a mistake going by the percentage, not going by the absolute value. So that's a different context. Some other time we'll speak on later. But eventually in 2010, one of my journeys to South Africa, we took over this company, which was in South Africa, a SICK unit, which became, it was a perfect product, right machinery, right customers. The only thing which was missing was the working capital. And I took over this company in 2010. We turned it around. We became the fourth largest producer in South Africa in the next 4 years. And believe me, we did not infuse a single penny of working capital. we used the alternate source of working capital, which helped us to grow the business. And that's how it was the journey. And again, it reinforced my idea again and again. What is the importance of short-term funds? How to think unconventionally for short-term funds? And this idea led to another shape of making it one-to-one business finance in 2015, where we started this company purely focused for working capital. And we call it the very short-term working capital finance company. We do working capital as small as 1 day, because sometimes people might need it just for a day. So that's again a management of short-term funds. How do you manage that? So I know there will be a lot of questions. Please type your questions in the Q&A section box over here. At the end, I'll take up the questions. So I'll be sharing my journey and my learnings. Another first learning which I came to the thing is working capital is something which is not standard. It cannot be standardized. Each industry, each business, its structuring, its entity plays a major role. The customer are different, and the credit period is different, the working cycle is different. So, and moreover, working capital is not visible in the balance sheet. The biggest problem with working capital is we see the paid up capital, we see the authorized capital. Even the auditors don't mention working capital anywhere in the balance sheet. They would mention cash flow, but they will not mention working capital. Although it's a hidden capital, it's a fluid capital, it's a floating capital. Working capital is a hidden asset, and it is an art of to manage it. And because it's hidden, it's off balance sheet. That's the reason people mess it up many point of times. And a lot of good businesses become bad because of the mismanagement over here. I'll share this. This is a general ratio of current assets across businesses. I wanted to share the idea how the working capital plays a role in the even in the success and the valuation of a company. Now, if you see on the first line, we have a sector called hotel, restaurant, hospital. Here, the 80 to 90% of the investment of the entire thing is into fixed assets. Maybe 10 to 20% is into working capital. On the contrary, as we go down, the trading and the service industry, 80 to 90% is into the current assets, which is the working capital, and only 10 to 20% is into the fixed assets. Now, if you see the stock markets also value them inversely. The hotel and the restaurant will be valued at lower PE ratio. On the contrary, the service industry or the IT companies are valued highly. And interestingly, when Sachin mentioned about the COVID times, this is exactly what has happened to these industries. The biggest sufferers were the hotel, restaurant, hospitals, and the biggest gainers were the service industry. But of course, they also face a thing called the fixed expenses, which we'll see how to manage in the later part of the presentation. But firstly, what you can't measure, you can't manage. So when we have seen that working capital is a hidden asset and we need to art to manage that, if we can't measure it, we can't manage it. So the first thing is required is we should know what is working capital. So working capital, हम लोग बोलते हैं मेरी working capital short हो गई, मुझे working capital चाहिए. We call up the financiers, we require working capital. So normally we are talking about the total current assets. I mean, we are talking about money only. As an entrepreneur, we only say कि पैसा चाहिए working capital के लिए. जबकि ideally we consider कि working capital means debtors, stocks on the current assets, which is called the gross working capital. But there's another thing called the net working capital. So current assets minus current liability is the net working capital. This is the working capital which a business would be using. That's how the banks, financial institutions evaluate the business. And the sources of the working capital also play a lot of role into the entire philosophy of working capital, which is very, very important. How do we see that? Now, what happens is when you talk about current assets, we normally take inventories, raw materials, work in progress, receivables. A very important point here is the debtors. Personally, I would recommend not to take debtors beyond 90 days. And why, we'll see later. We should only consider debtors which are less than 90 days into the current assets. Of course, cash and bank balance, short-term investments, that's fine. Prepaid expenses are fine. Similarly, loans and advances. Ideally, the balance sheet carries कि मैंने machinery का advance दिया है, ये दिया है. We consider it to be a part of the current assets. But while calculating your working capital, I would not recommend, please exclude all these loans and advances from the calculation part of the working capital. Now, there's a second part when we are doing the net working capital is in current liabilities. So again, among the current liabilities we do is the creditors for services, goods, expenses, bills payable, outstanding payments. but people don't include the EMIs, the interest payments. Even the CC limit is like a current liability. I mean, it's a short-term CC limit. Banks can even withdraw the limit, they can reduce the limit. So when we are calculating the current liabilities, we should also always calculate the CC limit. Short-term loans. In fact, now with the accounting norms, the CA has to put in, the all the loans which are less than 1 year. I mean, repayments in less than 1 year, they are considered as short-term working current liabilities, right? So even the government also accepts the fact that we should be considering very conservatively in terms of what we are calculating. How do we do it? The most important point is, how do we do it? We trust in God. In God we trust and rest all his data. So when you talk about the hidden working capital, we should be only relying on data, which is figures, numbers, whatever we do it. But that's the most important part to start off with. So when we are all MSMEs, SMEs, startups, young entrepreneurs, we say that data is big data, or MIS for large corporates. But these are all misnomer, myths, perceptions. Finance and accounts are same, is like a perception, is a myth. MIs and accounts are same, is again a myth. And most of the time, all entrepreneurs are focusing on the daily production, daily sales, daily collections. Nobody focuses on the working capital. Although that's the lifeline of the business, that's like a blood flow going around the entire business. So working capital is the lifeline of any business. So when you talk about lifeline, we talk about like the blood test. So we have got blood going around the body, which we can't see. But if the blood is not there, we'll stop surviving. Similarly, working capital is the lifeline of any business. So the next question is, how often should we analyze that? It all depends on most of the time we think that we are doing very good, the sales are up, the business is booming, and still we are in paucity of funds. So we can't understand what's happening, what's going on, right? There's something which is silently eating up your working capital. In fact, we realize the more you work, the more working capital you need. So it's a real phenomenon. Working capital is for hardworking and entrepreneurs. When you have sales growth, you need more working capital. But that's a normal philosophy. Sometimes, even when we are doing good, we realize that why are we facing a shortage? We call up people कि हमको पैसा चाहिए. We require working capital, because there are certain things which eat into our working capital. And especially during the COVID time, we will see, even though there was a lockdown, so all our working capital was eroded. What is silently eating our working capital? All types of fixed costs, EMIs, rents, interest, salaries, leases. I mean, whenever there's a lockdown, we know this EMI, rent, interest, salary, and lease will all be working. I mean, we have to pay them, right? But working capital only works during the day hours or the working hours. The customers, the sales, the billing, the banking, it's all during the working hours. But this kind of fixed cost will work 24/7. So if we don't control our fixed costs, this will eat away into our working capital. So Sachin ne bola baat, if you see, most of the people after COVID, they say, हमारी working capital की need बढ़ गई है. Because 2 months there was no sale, the stock was stuck up. To restart the business, everybody requires a working capital now. And whatever was left was silently eaten away by the fixed costs with these expenses which were working when we were also not working, right? So working capital and how to manage that. So working capital, working hard and working smart are two different things. So we have been working hard, and that's why we require more working capital. But now we should be working smart to address the working capital issues and make the working capital work for us. So let's go and see what is the core and the first philosophy and the first fundamental way to manage our working capital. Turnover is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is the reality. Cash is the king. And we normally work the other way around. Everybody wants to have a higher turnover. Top line kya hai? We have been, all media is talking about unka itna turnover ho gaya. People talk about the profits, but the reality is cash. How much cash do you are having? Cash, when we are talking about cash, means both cash in bank and bank balance. It doesn't mean physical cash. It's mean liquid money, right? That's the most important point which is required. And the first mistake normally what we do in working capital is So I'll tell you about the smart ways of dealing with working capital. The next few slides will take you to that journey. And the first mistake is we become the financiers to our customers. Don't become the customers' financiers. 45 days is the idle credit period. If you are giving a credit of more than 90 days, you are giving a term loan to your customer. Believe me, even the government wants the MSMEs are paid within 45 days. Just before I started this webinar, somebody came to my office and he was a supplier to a company. And उनका कहना था कि यार 90 days के क्या हमारे 180 days में आते हैं. And we consider जो पैसा पड़ा हुआ FDR है हमारा. Believe me, it's not an FDR, it's a bad debt. If you are supplying to a customer beyond 90 days, it will not come back. I can give you an example. I used to have a customer almost like 15 years ago, and we were supplying a very small amount, 15,000 rupees a month. And we thought he's paying in 120 days, 180 days. Eventually, his cycle went to 365 days. And then they call it, let's stop doing it. Even though we are making good money, let's stop it. And that company finally closed down. It became a bad debt. So if the debt, so we should not be the financer of our customer. Let their bankers be a financer to their customer. In fact, the debtors is the only depreciating asset in our current assets. If until unless you have a perishable stock, whatever cash you are carrying on your bank or something will grow. कुछ ना कुछ तो बैंक में रिटर्न मिलेगी अपने को, एफडी की रिटर्न मिले, कुछ भी मिले. The value of the finished stock might go up, the value of the raw material might go up, but the value of a sundry debtor can definitely go down because he may ask for a discount later on, he may not pay you, lots of things can happen. So believe me, please do not become the finance of your customer. That's the first philosophy. Second is think like a corporate. The corporates normally do not fail. We SMEs and the MSMEs, that we are always at the receiving end because we do not think like the corporate. How do the corporates think? They buy on credit, they sell on cash because again, the cash is king. Another thing which the corporates do to preserve their working capital, they move to a fixed cost transactions rather than they move to the transaction-based, expenses rather than the fixed cost transactions. For example, if they were to hire maybe they don't buy assets, they would take office on lease. It saves a lot of working capital. I remember I was on the board of a company where they bought 48 cars for their salesmen. So now buying cars, 48 cars, you drivers, you need service and everything, right? On the contrary, a corporate would, what they do is, I need 48 cars on lease. You can use them and you can stop the services. The exit is very important. For example, even the COVID period, if you had a contract for a fixed cost, you will be bleeding. On the contrary, if you had a contract on a transaction-based thing, transaction-based sometimes is higher on a percentage basis, but on an absolute thing, you save a lot of money on the transaction-based, expenses. It's easier to quit as well. The second important point we look forward is the excess liquidity. Excess liquidity is very, very risky. So going back to my research, the PhD, there was a company, all these 4 companies were making tons and tons of money. You know how profitable cigarette business is, right? And in the early 90s, apart from the profits which they showed on the balance sheet, there was a lot of cash being generated. So there were 4 companies, 3 of them were corporates with good corporate governance, 2 of them were MNCs. So there was no cash component. But the 4th company was a Marwadi entrepreneur-owned company called GTC Industries. So as a rich man's son, you get ideas and people come up every day with consultants, ki aap ye kar lo, wo kar lo, right? And there was excess liquidity in the system. So excess liquidity is very, very, very risky, right? In fact, even today, if we have excess money, we don't keep the money at home, we keep the money at the bank. So similarly, whenever you have an excess liquidity, you have to make sure that's properly utilized. Giving the example of even for the blood, excess hemoglobin is bad. So doctors advise if you have a excess hemoglobin, which is called polycythemia, so you have to donate the blood, remove the blood basically from the body. So excess is very, very bad. Now, how to save that? I had used this trick in South Africa. Discover the power of a piggy bank, maybe 1%, 2%. It's a loose change, it's like a tip. So for example, what we did was whatever the collection we used to get in South Africa, we made sure 1% of the collection goes to a different account, which is the FD account, so that the liquidity was out of the system and we were also saving as a company over there. So this can be a thought in terms of whatever you want to design, maybe 1%, 2%, depending on the product and the cycle is. But there's a power in the piggy bank saving, and it also removes the excess liquidity into the, from the working capital thing. Another thing is no to unrelated diversification, yes to focus. So there's a difference between diversification and expansion. So normally when you have excess liquidity, you have more flow coming up, we diversify into things which are unrelated, and that will again show a lot of impact on the working capital. So in the expansion mode, don't make heavy investments in fixed assets using working capital. If you want to invest into fixed assets, maybe we have to infuse more equity, bringing capital. लेकिन हमारे डे टू डे वर्किंग कैपिटल से हमको असेट्स में इन्वेस्ट नहीं करना चाहिए. We should be buying, taking long term debt or long term finances for the long term assets. Fixed assets are always long term, so we should not be moving our short term money into long term, right? There should not be a diversion of funds. Sometimes we divert the fund in terms of the drawing, saving, because SMEs, MSMEs, हमारा business and self are same. So we sometimes draw money for our personal and family needs. So there should not be a diversion of funds. Another common thing which we get trapped is the lure of targets and discounting. Especially when we are into trading, we are tempted by the corporates. They push up targets to us. They give us discounting, special discounts, and which we buy. But that leads us to extra load of the inventory on our asset sides, and then that depletes our working capital as well, and it leads to a tough situation for the entire business. This should be all the targets and discounts are good depending on how much liquidity are you having in the business. Most of the time, there's another thing called speculative tendency, especially into commodities, like if you are dealing into agro products or into I would say metals, whether it's steel or gold. We should not be doing speculation कि अभी तो तेजी आने वाली है, कुछ खरीद लेते हैं माल. So that is something that's more stalking than the thing, and it might turn out to be disastrous both ways in terms of blocking your working capital, and the prices go down, again losing money on your entire investment as well. Another important point is the story of the learning from Udhari Ram and Nagdi Ram. So I think some of you must be knowing the story. There were two brothers next door to each other. एक का नाम उधारी राम था, एक का नाम नगदी राम था. So this guy, Udhari Ram, would always buy on credit, 30 days credit. वो कभी कैश में लेता ही नहीं था, always on credit. नगदी राम, वो सेठ जी थे, बोले मैं कभी उधार नहीं लेता. I always buy on credit. I want to use the cash discount always. And unfortunately, lockdown happened, right? So what happened was कि उधारी राम ने बोला कि from a 30-day credit, now I want a 40-day or 45-day or 60-day cycle for that credit. And supplier was more than happy to do it, because they were supplying to Udhari Ram for 20 years, and they found कि कभी दिक्कत तो आई नहीं पेमेंट के अंदर. So they were more than happy to do a 60-day credit. On the contrary, the Nagdi Ram was paying cash always, and he said कि यार मुझे तो उधार चाहिए, right? So the supplier said, यार क्या हो गया, इनके कुछ financial trouble आ गई है, something wrong. Nobody supplied to them. So this is a very important thing, and that's how the corporates do. I mean, they can afford all the money in the world to buy on cash, but they don't buy on cash. They always buy on udhar. So that's very important to use. And again, that's a source of working capital. I'll show it later on as well. So next thing is the debt. So debt-free is not a good idea. We should not be debt-free. Debt is a very, very important asset. There are two assets which we have got in our business, debt and capital. Unfortunately, both of them stand in the liability side of the balance sheet. So how we use them is very important. And as I mentioned to you, my family did not use another debt, and they even, their capital got wiped out. So without a debt, nothing works out. As an entrepreneur, we are always taking a risk. So business is about taking a risk. I would recommend that your own capital is more riskier than the debt, right? So when you are doing business, we should be using a debt very judicially, very prudently. Don't risk your own capital to do business with, right? Another thing is to manage working capital is the smart way is corporate governance, ring fencing your business, financial discipline. These are very essential. Now somebody would say, "I सब तो बड़े buzzwords लगते हैं यार." कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस बड़ी कंपनी की बात है, रिंग फेंसिंग हम तो क्या जानते हैं, राइट? I think this is not the case. This is not corporate governance requirement as per the government is different. Corporate governance is about self financial discipline. Ring fencing against self financial discipline. We should live financially into silos. If you have got 5 businesses, those should be done into silos. ये business का ये finance है, इस business का ये finance है, these are my personal finances, right? We should be drawing salaries or getting paid like a for bonus, just like we get paid to our the employees, right? I mean, so we should be treating a very properly professional thing. Professional doesn't mean you should have professional, it's mean just a discipline. Lastly, on the all smart ways, have financial coaches and mentors, not advisors. Advisors take money upfront before at the time of advice. Coaches and mentors are part of your success. They get paid, remunerated, satisfied at the end of your journey or with your journey. So this is again an important point. Now, how to manage all these things? Technology. Tech is the cheapest commodity available these days. Please use it. We don't require rocket science or expensive things. See, imagine Zoom today, it's almost free. So all these things to come, all technology has gone to the masses. Even today, a rickshawala has a mobile, you can send a message to him. So technology is a commodity. Please use it abruptly, extensively. You can use it. So any SME, I mean, in fact, Sachin was telling me yesterday, we should be doing an event for how to use the technology for the SMEs. I'm sure we'll plan out something, very shortly. So how to do it. Another thing which I learned in my journey is about Excel. Excel is for data analysis, not for capturing data. ये मेरी learning है. People use Excel for even keeping a cash book. So please do not capture data into Excel. If you have to capture data, either you capture on the paper or on some software. Don't use Excel for capturing data, because it's easy to manipulate, change it. So I always recommend that please use maybe a software or a paper to record data. Now we have seen the certain things which are smart ways to deal with working capital. But the most important point now is, what are the sources of working capital? We know the traditional sources, bank ki CC limit hoti hai, that's a typical thing which we think about working capital. But there are other alternate sources of working capital which we should be talking. Which are the alternate sources of working capital? I've used almost all of them, and they are the cheapest ones to use. They might look expensive sometimes, but eventually they are very cheap. So first is the supplier's credit. In 1998, I ran my company for 45 days without having a single money in my account, because of the supplier's credit. We were supplying to corporates, which the cycle was almost more than 90 days. And we were in bad shape because there was no money coming up. And we got the supplier's credit. We got everything on credit, right from the diesel to the, the material, even for the wages to be paid to the workers. We had a line of credit for the workers with the Kirana store. So he used to supply them food and everything. So 45 days, we did not pay anything and we had a supplier's credit. Another alternate source is selling on cash. So if you see all these B2C people sell on cash, agar apan dekhte hain, credit card swipe cost is 1.8%. So transaction wise, it's pretty high. 1.8% is pretty high. But at the same time, you are converting your stock into cash. So cash is very, very important. We should try and sell on cash. There are ways and means of doing it now. There are multiple platforms who help on, we also do it. Multiple platforms are there who will convert your invoice into cash. Factoring is coming up very importantly in terms of alternate source of funding. And this we have used overseas also. Indian factoring market is improving now. One-to-one is also started the factoring services in discounting of invoices. So whenever there's a long credit and we do not know the customer, the best way to do is discount the invoices. The banks are offering bill discounting services. And so once you discount the invoices, your risk of the debtor goes away. You have cash with you, and even the debtor is happy because he can take the credit whichever he wants. Another alternate source is just in time of inventory. So maybe the timelines of the supply side can be controlled, reduced, so then the inventory is not built up. Now we have seen the smart ways of managing working capital. We have seen the alternate ways of managing working capital, but how to assess what is the, are we doing it right? Are we doing it wrong? So just like a blood test, we require there are parameters to do a working capital test. So, I'll give you also give a cheat sheet to you at the end, so which you can do it on a daily basis. But eventually there are a couple of almost like nine ratios which we can analyze how to do a deep dive inside the working capital. So there's a current ratio, there's a quick ratio, there's a quick assets ratio as a percent of current assets, inventory turnover ratio, which how fast are you turning the inventory. Then you have the number of days of inventory being carried. It's all, so this will all vary from the industry to industry. This will all vary from the product to product. It will be very unique to what you are doing, right? But eventually, once you see, there will be a rational logic into everything, so we can evaluate that, are we doing it right or we doing it wrong? We need to optimize that. We This is all simple. I mean, everybody can do it. Average receivables as number of days of sales. Then we have debtors as a percent of current assets, working capital turnover ratio. So between these 9 ratios, I'll give you 2 cheat sheets, and those 2 important, very important ratios, which as an entrepreneur we should be using on a daily basis. Very easy to do, just like the MIS we do. अपन जो रोज प्रोडक्शन फिगर लेते हैं या सेल्स का फिगर लेते हैं, उनके साथ में कर सकते हैं. The first one is the current ratio. The current ratio is also called, it gives you the entire overall state of affairs of the business. It's also called the working capital ratio, and it will give you the idea of exactly what's the working capital in the business. The current ratio is very simple: current assets upon current liabilities. So when you see current assets and current liabilities, what I shared earlier, please remove 90 plus debtors out of that. Please include the the EMIs and the rents also. So there will be one factor which will not be covered ideally over here, is the timing difference. Because when we are taking the debtors and the creditors, we are taking them as on a day. The number of days of debtors and creditors are not being included over here. So that is subjective tweaking which you have to use on a business level basis. So current assets and current assets divided by current liabilities is the current ratio. And now what is the good ratio? The best is 2.1. The range 2.1 is the best. If the ratio of current asset ratio is 2:1, it's fantastic. If it's 1.5 to 1:5 to 1, it's again good. The moment you start going down, if it's 1:1, you have to be cautious. If it goes below that, if it goes below 1, then there's something wrong. It's like, अपन जब blood test का आते हैं, पहले maybe we get a hemoglobin test done, or we see the blood sugar, right? So if we see that blood sugar is high, then we go for a deep intensive test, right? Similarly, these 2 tests are very quick tests. We see if there's something wrong. And the next point is if it's less than 1, it's something wrong. If it's below 0.5, then the business is about to collapse. I have got data on listed companies. I mean, we almost study 5 to 10 balance sheets in a day because of the nature where I am into lending, right? So when we see financial, we see what is a mistake people are doing and what is the ratio which is going, and why people can get into a soup if it's below 0.5. So this is a very, very important ratio, and I'll just share this presentation later on so people can use it. The second ratio is the quick ratio. It's the asset test ratio. Basically, upon litmus paper ko, if we depend on the asset, we just get the value instantly, right? So this is a quick ratio to understand where are we standing, or where is the business standing, or whether it's business, how long it can sustain the operation, right? So it gives a more realistic and instant picture about the liquidity of the business. It's instant, because that's the shortest time the business can die. The calculation is quick assets divided by current liabilities. Now, what do you mean by quick assets? Quick assets are cash, bank balance, and money lying into bank FDRs, which is like at a call away. The debtors are not quick assets. The stocks are not quick assets. It's basically money with you, rather money at call, which we call it quick assets. So this ratio is also very important because that's the only money where you can service the liabilities, assuming that even if the debtors don't come in or the stocks are not sold, this is the only money or asset left with you to service the liabilities. So it's the quickest thing to, take the judgment of the company. What is a good range? The good range is 1:1. The current ratio was 2:1. This is 1:1. This is the best. Good is 0.85 because it's about cash money, right? Cautious is 0.75 to 0.85. But if you go below that, then something wrong. So if it's below 0.5 on a quick ratio, that is the earliest signal, a red signal, a flag that something wrong. We should do a deep dive, get the full analysis of working capital done. See, working capital will be given the earliest signal for the business. That's the quickest signal where the business is going. So that's the fastest way to see and how to manage the working capital. And I would not take a long time. This was my last cheat sheet, and I'll be open to the question and answers now. Thank you so much for listening. Sachin, I think, can we open it for the question and answers?
Yes, Ravi, I think time we start the question.
I'll just wrap up one thing before we open to that. How to make the working capital work for you. Only one golden formula. Don't use short-term funds for long-term use. That is the single most important formula. The short-term funds mismatch is the only thing which leads you into a crisis of a working capital. So yes, Sachin, over to you.
Yes, so there are a few questions in the Q&A section. So number one is, what is the definition of working capital? So I think you did mention, but would you like to, for the benefit of audience, once more?
Yeah, I'll do that. So there are two definitions. एक तो हम लोग जो बोलते हैं working capital चाहिए. So we all believe हम पैसे की बात कर रहे हैं. It's all cash, right? But that's what we think, right? But ideally, working capital means whatever we have got, the debtors, the stock, work in progress, cash, bank balance, and the suppliers, minus the suppliers, the credit which we've got. That's the working capital with us. That's the money which we have to do our business. But बोलने में तो वही आता है working capital की मतलब पैसा चाहिए. The cash is king.
Right. So that is the difference actually.
Yeah.
All right. So there is a next question is not related to working capital. All right. I'll take this third question first. Does working capital define the success of a business? Would you like to expand on this?
Absolutely. The businesses fail because of mismanagement of the working capital. I mean, they are businesses. So commodity businesses are capital intensive, working capital intensive. So FMCGs are working capital intensive businesses. So if you can't manage the working capital prudently, especially the ratio where the huge working capital, service industry doesn't require big working capital, right? उसमें दिक्कत नहीं आती. But businesses where there's a longer product cycle also. So वहाँ पे working capital management is critical.
Absolutely.
And now the complexity with the cross-border exports and imports and the value chain entirely, it's more important to manage that thing.
Yes. So I have also received a few questions in my private chat. WhatsApp पे भी आए मेरे पास questions. So let me take this one now.
Yeah.
So first one is, how is the working capital management different for a trading and a manufacturing company? So very specific question.
So क्या है कि trading company normally gets a simple credit of from the supplier as well. Either you are buying cash or you are buying on credit, right? So the biggest problem with the trading company is until unless you back-to-back manage the number of days when you're buying and selling, there will be a mismatch of the working capital. I'll give an example. In South Africa, we have a model called the settlement discount. वहाँ पे क्या होता है कि अपने आप पे अपन बिल टू बिल चलते हैं 30 days 45 days, राइट? वहाँ पे फंडा ये है कि 1st से 30th तक की जो बिलिंग होती है, राइट, you make a statement and the credit is given 30 days from statement and there's a settlement discount. So if you are into trading, it becomes very easy because if you negotiate, let's say 45 days credit for your suppliers, right, or maybe 60 days, and you are giving a 30-day credit, then you don't require a bigger working capital. On the contrary, in the manufacturing, this can't work like that because manufacturing के लिए आपको raw material चाहिए, work in progress चाहिए, right? उसके बाद में आपको selling के लिए finished goods चाहिए, and sometimes the number of inputs in terms of raw materials to make the product are also many. trading में तो you are trading a product. एक लिया उसको trade कर रहे हो. You're not assembling it, right? The manufacturing में lot of products make a product. So it's more complex over there.
So there's a lead time from finished goods, raw material to finished goods.
Right.
So that's also, if the longer the lead time, the more the working capital, I guess.
Yeah. So normally also, if you prefer, people will see manufacturer generally cash and business. They would say, "Ki mujhe CD lo, cash mein maal le jao, immediate payment," right? On the contrary, the traders want कि मुझसे credit पे माल लो. They would like to do on credit.
Right. So no wonder, lot of time when you go to those, old city market here in Lucknow, मैंने कई मतलब अंकल से भी जो पुराने बिजनेस के स्टैलवर्ड्स हैं, they would say, यार जब खरीदने जाओ तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्रेडिट मांगो और जब बेचने जाओ तो कैश पे बात करो. So I think that was old wisdom which we should rediscover now.
Absolutely.
All
That's
right,
the only way to work. Yeah.
So there are more questions coming in the chat box.
Yeah, I'll answer this.
For that, I'll take just one more question from the PM that I've got. Where does capital management become more important in companies with longer product cycle or shorter? But I think you already answered.
Yeah, answer that.
So we'll skip and come to the Q&A box.
So there's a question by Karan. He's asking about factoring, right? So factoring is again a part like a sales invoice discounting. Basically, factoring, what happens is you assign the invoice to the factor, which is a financer, which is the NBFC, right? And the risk also is borne by the NBFC, depending on the product which is there. And your customer, so the factoring company pays you the money of the invoice after deducting whatever the charges are immediately. And your customer pays to the factoring company after the credit period, 30, 45 days, whatever it is. So factoring both as a work karti hai. Sometimes there's a recourse also with the supplier, and there's sometimes non-recourse also. For example, if you don't want to say, seller says ki mere ko risk, I want a risk-free hassle, right? Then the factoring company will pay you immediately, and whether it's a bad debt or whatever it is, it's the cost of the factoring company. Of course, that's more expensive. Other part is ki you said, I'm happy with the customer is good, I'm into a B2B sale. I don't want ki mere ko risk mein cover kar lunga, mujhe paise chahiye. So immediately you assign the invoice to the factoring company. The factoring company will make the money to you right away, and they will collect the money from the customer, or the customer will pay it to the channels to the factoring company. That's how it works basically. And I think, maybe in a year's time, we should also be seeing a credit insurance into domestic market. We already have ECGC, which is doing credit insurance for the export market, but we should be seeing, because the credit insurance is a part of the factoring product as well. So I think, Karan, I've answered that thing. Another question, which is about from Kashyap. In cash sale, if we offer 2% discount, sorry, 1 second. While invoice can be used to 7%, should you for cash sale? You offer 2% discount while invoice can be negotiated at 7% discount. I didn't get this. You mean what is the meaning? I mean, you are selling it at 2% discount. Kashyap, can we put on the audio for Kashyap? I mean, if you can ask the question. In the meantime, I'll answer this question. What is the view of the recent trade exchange like RXL, MSL, unwilling to onboard, and they feel they will be stuck? How long we promote? So yes, the trade exchange is a good feature. The MSMEs are not onboarding that. I don't know, for whatever reason, they should do it, especially if you're supplying to the bigger corporates. That's a great thing to do, because that's the cheapest way of financing from the corporates. In fact, it's the other way also. Even the corporates are not willing to put their invoices on the exchange, because if they don't pay in 45th day, they basically become a defaulter. अभी तो क्या होता है कि वो 45 दिन की 45 days they go for 60 days, 90 days, right? But if we don't do it that way in 45 days, so even the corporates don't want it. But I think it's a great product, trade exchange. And by the way, trade is exactly factoring. Trade is exactly factoring, wherein the financer pays the money to you, and the financer recovers the money from the corporate. So people should onboard MSMEs. The only problem is it's only for the customers or the listed company or the bigger corporates. If you are supplying to the MSMEs or the smaller customer, then you have no option, then you have to go to the other way around. Coming back to this query of Karan, Kashyap, can you explain that, Kashyap? If we get a bill distinguished by banks, you have to pay 7%. Okay. So 7% interest, as you are saying, from the bank, basically 7% is 7% bank will not give you unless you give them a collateral, right? So you give them a collateral, they will pay you 50% of the collateral money, right? And they'll do the entire diligence about you. And then you get a 7% or 8% interest per CC limit milti hai, right? On the CD thing, and the risk is yours. If you have a debtor beyond 90 days, the bank will not give you a DP limit on the debtor, right? On the contrary, if you are selling a invoice on a cash discount basis, because you are churning the money very fast, if you can get the 2%, you can also negotiate discount from your supplier as well. So fundamentally, the entire world moves on a transaction-based financing. We have seen B2C credit cards, they are paying 1.8% upfront. So there is no reason why not to give a discount to the customer to pay right now. Because once he pays you, you have money to buy more, you have money to sell more, money to do more things, right? So if he mentioned that you are an exporter, about 2% discount, I don't know whether you're talking about the export shipments or the domestic shipments, but if you are selling overseas, 7% interest is for the overseas CC limit, is it? Can somebody ask him to speak? I can't get the query fully.
Kashyap, you can speak now, and you can ask your question.
Yeah. My question is, if we negotiate our bills, we have to pay 7%, and after subvention, we have to pay 4% interest. We usually offer 2% discount to our buyers. So this would be better to offer cash discount, or we should opt for negotiate the bills.
See, if you have an export limit with the bank and where you can get it at 7%, then it's always better to go for that. It also depends what is the credit period. How much credit are you? How many days credit are you giving?
Actually,
right?
we have running packing credit account.
With your customer, how much are you giving? Are you supplying to a customer at what, 35 days, 40 days?
45 to 60 days.
So if you are giving it for 60 days, it's better to do a 2% CD and give it to them. Because in any case, if you're using the money from the banks, you are almost paying like 1% plus to the bank on the cost of the fund, right? And getting the money after 2 months. आप 7% per annum pay करते हैं, 2 महीने का पैसा use करते हैं, so you're almost paying like 1% for the 60 days, right? Here it's better to convert your entire debtor into cash and use your money for something else.
Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you.
Ravi, there's a question from Ashish Kaul in the Q&A. I'm reading it, and Ashish is also our past president and member of TiE Lucknow board. I'll read out this question, and then maybe if Ashish has any follow-up questions, I'll request that he be put on the, his audio be on.
Yeah.
His question is: discounting of bills is generally happening with a tie-up with the large purchasing corporates. Are there any banks or big companies that provide bill discounting to sellers irrespective of the purchasers?
Yeah, Ashish. Hi, Ashish. Firstly, thank you so much. And I know you have taken TiE Lucknow right from the inception to now. It's been am I right, Sachin, for the almost
absolutely
for 5 years?
He was our founding president, and so I'm just gracing his heels.
No, actually, great. He's AK, so AK के जिनके आगे AK लग गया तो अपने आप ही बोल आते हैं. So Ashish, so what you are saying, absolutely, there are many companies who are doing it now. In fact, we also work in that model. We provide bill discounting to sellers. See, I'll tell you, there was a notification almost like 3 years ago where the RBI also wanting to change the fixed CC limit to a variable limit, right? In fact, for the larger corporates, I think beyond 150 crores, उन्होंने mandatory भी कर दिया है कि banks will not be giving them the entire CC limit. CC limit क्या होती है? कभी खत्म ही नहीं होती है, हमेशा full चलती है. So they also want to move from an ad hoc CC to a transaction-based thing. So even the banks are doing it, the new generation NBFCs are doing it, the fintech companies are doing it. So a lot of the companies are doing it. We also do the same stuff. we provide invoice discounting to sellers immaterial of the purchases, immaterial. So basically that's a variant of factoring. It's exactly what factoring is about. I hope Ashish this is answered.
Ashish, you have a follow-up question on that? Otherwise, we can move on.
Okay, I'll take the next in the meantime. Saurav has a question. Quick ration has explained his liquid cash. Quick ratio, okay. So, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. I'm talking about when you say कि you haven't, I can show you businesses where I've got cash equivalent to creditors, right? It all depends what nature of business you are into. I mean, you know, if you are into a high working capital intensive business, then you'll be having more cash. If you are into a manufacturing industry, you'll be having a ratio which is towards a less liquidity, because if you're trading or if you're into service industry, the only thing you are having is you don't have an inventory, you know. So if you are trading back to back, then it'll be a less of the inventory involved. So I can give you examples of companies that have got equal 1:1. So, you know, I can tell you like Shree Cement is one of the cement industries always having a lot of cash. You know, they are ITC, all the FMCG companies are having a lot of cash. Those are industries if you are into that product. Gaurav has a question. I think it's the same question, am I right? I think I have answered that question, right? Gaurav, chat mein aa gaya tha. Tanya has a question. Do you think the old way of putting your money in DCs or committees still works, or did you say? I would say it erodes. Nothing unorganized, informal is risky. There are multiple organized way of saving money apart from the banking FDRs. You have got there are some fintech products are there. You know, you can do the SIPs, but there's no way we should be doing the DC or the committee still. You know, which NBFCs are active in factoring for domestic trading in India? All the companies which are on the trade exchange, we do factoring of as well at our point of time. And the bigger companies, Canby Factors are there, SBI Factors is there. Those are companies which are doing for the larger corporates. Ashish, that's your question. How can we raise and convert our working capital into a sustainable economic growth? Faizan, that's a interesting question. How can we convert our working capital into a sustainable? See, working capital is an asset. It all depends on the product which you are dealing. It's the structure which you are dealing. What are you selling? Are you manufacturing? Are you into trading? So this has to be answered. You know, maybe Sachin will share with you what. Sachin, at the end, you'll share about the diagnostic panel, right? So
yes. So I think, was about to announce that. Before that, can we take up a question from Rakesh Turi here? So,
Rakesh.
Yeah.
On the chat.
His question is, when calculating the QR denominator, CL will include WC limits? This is his question.
I can't see that. कहाँ पे है वो?
So ये chat में है, not in the Q&A.
Okay, I'll just see
a little. You'll have to move up a little.
Okay. When calculating the quick ratio, the denominator current liability will include the working capital limits. Yes, ideally it should, because please trust me, all the working capital limits are at demand. When we are signing the papers with the bank, these working capital limits are all at demand. When banks can always ask you, they don't ask you normally, but technically and legally they can demand the money at the call right now. So we should do it that way.
Right. So any other question that you would want to take up at this point in time? Otherwise, I have an announcement to make.
Yeah, I think I'm done. It's been recorded. Yeah.
So here's a quick announcement, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. So our host, speaker of the day, he has been very kind, and he has to help us out in our working capital requirements, or rather, diagnostic test. He's given us he will give us a tool. Now, what he's offering is that this is called working capital diagnostic test for your business. Now, this is a complimentary service for first 5 applicants from TIE Lucknow and 5 from UP, and then 5 rest of the country. So we're lucky to have it. You just need to fill up a basic financial details form, and Arun would be sharing this link in the chat box shortly. So Arun, please do the needful. share this link. So you guys, you can fill up this form and they will come back to you. 121 Business Finance will come back to you with their report on this test. And this should be quite helpful for people who are actually looking for a hands-on solution. So Arun, have you posted it?
He has done it on the chat.
All right.
The link is there on the chat. Yeah.
We can take, I think, another. There are a lot of questions coming. I have another DM question in my chat, in my WhatsApp. So just a moment. Yeah. So the question is, what plays a major role in working capital? The inventory, debtors, creditors, or the expenses?
Absolutely, the debtors. Absolutely.
And why so?
Because that's the only way to convert your money into cash. Right? You can buy inventory on credit, right? The creditors there, आप creditors को बोल सकते हो मैं 5 दिन बाद पैसा दूंगा, but everything is dependent on the money which you get. Expenses you have to incur. So अपने यहाँ एक कहावत है कि customer भगवान होता है.
Right.
So the debtor is a customer, so that's the most important part of the entire working capital thing.
So like D2C businesses today are in that mode. I mean,
D2C is always a good thing. They get a higher valuation as well because B2C में हमेशा cash मिलता है.
So I mean, personally in our business we are experiencing this. So as we move from more of offline to D2C, we are seeing that our capital, I mean the working capital, we are richer by at least current assets. Liquidity. So anything that you can suggest on similar lines to the community, business community who are into trading or manufacturing?
See, trading, I think there's one more thing which the people can use. It's called the ALM, asset liability mismatch, right? And that is where, because trading is basically doing a back-to-back transaction. You're buying the product and you're selling a product, right? So the critical component there is the credit involved. What credit are you buying and what credit are you selling? So there's a very important part to how to manage that asset liability management, right? So I think if somebody can, the trader can crack that out, buy on a longer credit and sell on a shorter credit. So that will be a good thing for the the trader to do, right? And on the manufacturing, what was your question on the manufacturing?
You asking me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm asking you. You were saying something.
So what I was saying was, any advice for the manufacturing or the trading community for to be able to like the advantage as a product manufacturer? I got this advantage from moving from the essentially offline, where we were selling to a distributor to a retailer. There was a long cycle. I mean, our money would come back after 45 to 60 days. But ever since we started selling through e-commerce, more of e-commerce, and then directly through our website, we get cash.
Right.
Sometimes it's negative cash. They receive it 7 days down the line. We get cash today. So क्या ऐसा कुछ तरकीब मैन्युफैक्चरिंग वालों के लिए हो सकती है?
बिल्कुल होगी सचिन भाई. I think इंडिया में एक चेंज आने वाला है because of GST. The number of layers will be reduced. पहले क्या था, मैन्युफैक्चरर था, then you had a CNF distributor, then wholesale distributor, bigger distributor, smaller distributor, and then a dealer. I think with the GST in place and technology in place, 1 or 2 layers will be cut down. Now it will be manufacturer because GST है, warehouses हैं यहाँ पे, and technology है. They can just put in the press and यार ये delivery वहाँ भेज देना, right? So I think the trading community has to understand those dynamics.
All right.
Yeah, that's the important part. So